All right, so I think we can't wrap this up without talking about overthinking, because this is something that's going to happen to you. And I think if you were of the same generation of me, that kind of millennial generation, we tend to be the biggest overthinkers out there. We have this kind of struggle with switching off. We feel like we always need to be doing stuff. We feel like we must be productive. We've kind of grown up in this, we're going to change the world. We need to be productive. We've got to be on. We've got to work all the time, work hard, get stuff done. And that makes it really hard to switch off. And we end up overthinking, particularly when we are learning to switch off and we are going out and doing things that we enjoy and doing things that give our life a little bit more meaning. We start to feel guilty and we start to question, well, should I be doing this or should I be doing something productive? Should I be doing something what we perceive to be useful? So I think it's important that we just do a little bit on overthinking as we wrap up this 6-week program. Now, if we break overthinking down, what it is at its base level is a stress response. That's what it is. Overthinking is a stress response and it creates the freeze response. Now, you've heard me talk about fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Overthinking is a freeze. Okay. It's a means of procrastination and getting stuck in our heads because our nervous system perceives a threat. It thinks that doing this thing that is different and it's new and it's uncomfortable, is in some way a threat to our safety. So it starts to put us in a freeze mode. We start to overthink and we get stuck in our head. Okay. For most of you, living your life on purpose and doing things that you enjoy, not feeling like crap all the time and not feeling obligated to work all the time, is going to make you feel guilty. It's going to make you feel unsafe. Okay. You're going to feel so uncomfortable with that, especially in the beginning, because we think we should be focused on work. We think we should be doing this, that, the other. We think we're not allowed to have fun. We're not allowed to enjoy ourselves. And that's completely untrue. That is a false narrative that we have been conditioned to believe as we've grown up and, society, our parents and all that kind of stuff. And we've perpetuated it by actually taking action around it. So as soon as I ask you to start going out and doing your key four every day and doing things that you enjoy and living life on purpose, it's going to lead to a bit of overthinking. Okay. And not just that, but also when you have a bad day at work, if you have a particularly difficult time at work and you find yourself stuck in a loop, thinking about things over and over and over again, it happens. Okay. So you're going to find yourself overthinking for many different reasons. And when we do that, we get stuck in this overthinking loop, we don't actually have to do anything. It just keeps us stuck. It keeps us where we are. And although the overthinking is uncomfortable in itself, it's far more comfortable than actually having to go and do something. Okay. Stuck is safe. And as much as it sucks, and we understand logically that if we're stuck, we're not going anywhere, we're not getting what we want, our nervous system doesn't care about logic. Our emotions don't care about logic. It just perceives a threat. And by staying still and staying stuck, then we're all right, we're safe. Okay. So what we need to do is learn to acknowledge this. We can't stop it, but we can reduce it. We can change how we react, and ultimately create a better outcome for ourselves. We can stop ourselves from going down that rabbit hole where we start to catastrophize things. And then, of course, we have the guilt and the shame that follows because we've procrastinated and then we've ended up doing nothing. So the first thing we need to do is notice it. We need to be able to acknowledge that it's happening, come back into our body, because if we can get into our body, then we can get out of our head. Then we want to question the validity of those thoughts. And I've got a little protocol for you that can do just that. And we're going to go through that right now. So let's get this protocol up. You'll find a button underneath this video that will link you to this protocol. So overthinking protocol, start. Overthinking is a stress response. Notice it, challenge it. So step one, bring awareness to it. What is going on in your head? Just get it all out here, okay? Because if it's on paper or digital paper as such, then it's not rattling around in your brain. So that's the first step, is just brain dump everything on here and bring your awareness to it. Then it's okay, so let's get back into your body. All right, so you're going to take 5 deep breaths. And then I want you to stand up and just bang out 10 reps of any exercise you want, your choice, okay? What we're doing here is we're shocking yourself out of your head and getting you back into your body by using movement and breath work. Next, based on everything you just wrote down before, all the stuff that's going down in your head, what's the worst case scenario with all of that? And go completely ridiculous with this, because the more ridiculous you can get, the better, because that will tend to create a real kind of eye-opening experience of, hang on a minute, this is ridiculous. And it can also create laughter, and laughter is another way of getting in the body. So go extreme. Worst case scenario. Now rank it. How likely is it? 10 being extraordinarily likely, it's going to happen. 1 being highly unlikely. Now consider the best case scenario. So whatever's rattling around in your head right now, all the stuff you're catastrophizing and worrying about and overthinking, what's the best case scenario out of all of that? And again, go extreme there as well. What's the best thing that could possibly happen? Rate it. How likely is it? And then I want you to think about what you've written, both the best case and the worst case scenario, and question its validity, okay? And like I said, laugh, because if you've gone extreme, you'll probably be laughing about some of the stuff you've written down, because that's a great way of getting into your body, okay? That laughter. Then, is any of it true, okay? Any of that stuff that's going on in your head, is any of it actually factually true? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe some pieces aren't. So what, if any of it, is true? And then of those things that are true, that you have factual evidence for, do they even matter? Does it matter, yes or no? A lot of the times, what's going on in our head isn't true and doesn't matter. Not all the time, but in many cases. And why does it matter? Can you justify why that thing matters to you? And then what can you do about it? List your options. What are the actions you could take to help you with this situation, to help you with whatever's going on in your head right now? Oh, press that twice. And then next thing is to go back to the breath. Another 5 breaths. Stand up and do another 10 reps. Move around, shake things off. Okay, just get moving, get back in your body, get out of your head. And then based on the list of options and actions, what's one thing that you can actually go and do right now to help with this situation? Now, what you go and do may not necessarily be connected to the thing you were overthinking about, because if you've gone through the process and the thing you're overthinking about has proven to be absolute nonsense, it's not true, it's not relevant, doesn't even matter in the least, I still want you to go and take an action. That one thing you can go and do now, it could be one of your key 4. It could be something from your power games, or it could just be something you want to do, something you need to do, okay? The goal is to actually do something. It doesn't necessarily have to be linked up to what you were thinking about. The goal here is to stop you overthinking. That's not the right frame, stop you overthinking. We can't stop you overthinking. The goal is to break the overthinking and get you to go do something, to take an action, okay? To break through the procrastination that's created by the overthinking. Okay, so what's the one thing you can go and do now? Whether it's relevant to what you're thinking or whether it's completely abstract, doesn't matter. And then how can you make that thing as easy as possible? That thing you feel like you need to go and do is absolutely huge and has a million different components and you need all these different resources and you're not going to do it, okay? Because you're not going to be in the right state to do it. So you need to make it easier. Chunk it down into its simplest form, something you can go do now with minimal resources. And then it's a case of go and do it. Okay, now once you've done it, we've started to break that pattern and we started to create a change. We've created a shift. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. Okay, so that wraps up our 6-week program. We've gone through a lot of stuff here. It's been pretty in-depth. You should have gone through the training, tracked it on the tracker, shared your insights in the community, and hopefully you've done all the work. Because if you've done the work, then you should have had some great results from this. And of course, I would love to know how things have gone for you. So underneath this, you're going to see some next steps in that section. You've got a little progress report to fill out to see how far you've come. You can compare that to your intake form and a little bit of a certificate to celebrate. All right. So make sure you're going through this process, you're posting in the community so I can see how you're getting on. All right, but it's been a pleasure. I hope you've got loads out of this 6 weeks. And if you need anything or you want to discuss how you can continue your training, let me know and we'll go through that together. So all that's left for you to do now is to make sure you finish this week's work, have a go with the protocol and post about it. Let me know how you get on.